average person who doesn't work out, doesn't know how to push his body, doesn't do this.
Right.
That's not us. It's not a sprint. It's a grind. You got to do it day in and day out and keep getting wins. That was my deal. I would have got it. Smile, dial, and make a pile. Okay, that's my slogan. There's a million of them. Only a few people succeed at a high level. Hey everybody, Mark McKenna. Welcome to The Real Hustle. We are super excited tonight to have Ben Dash. Ben is a very close friend of mine, a local attorney, and we got a great story we're going to talk about today. Thanks for joining us today, Ben.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
So how long have I known you? 20 years?
About 20.
25? Yeah. So, give everybody like a little bit the cliff notes of, I always know you're Tampa University. He almost convinced me not to send my son to Tampa.
I scared your wife a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll start from there and work your way up to your professional career now and where you're at.
Sure. So, I did start at University of Tampa. That was a very brief stint before I was politely asked to leave. I came home and really wasn't ready for college and ended up sort of by accident becoming a private investigator. Ended up opening up a detective agency with my brother.
That guy Cliff? Is that that?
That's how I met Cliff.
Okay.
Cliff. And Cliff has turned out to be one of my very best friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a really good dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I met him. So my brother and I had this agency. We ended up growing it out pretty well. And I quickly realized, although we were running around Philly having a great time at a real young age and making money, it was just not for me. It wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So
understood.
Yeah, I kind of sold my share out to him, and I went back to Rutgers and just plowed through Rutgers as quickly as I could because I wanted to go to law school, and I went straight through to law.
Did you go Rutgers Law too?
I did.
Okay.
Rutgers Camden, undergrad and law. Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful university.
That's the school under the bridge.
Were you in a fraternity there?
No fraternity there.
I didn't think so.
No. I was probably too old. I would have been like Blue from...
So how old were you when you graduated from law school?
I was 30 when I graduated law school and already married.
Okay.
I got married right before I started law school.
Awesome.
Yep.
And then you started your practice, and you've been in Morristown the whole time?
No, I was practicing in Philly for a while,
Okay.
and I actually was in a completely different field of law, and I decided I just wanted to get out of that area altogether.
Okay.
And I crossed the bridge and started practicing. I've been practicing here for, I guess, about 16, 17 years in Jersey.
Awesome.
And the rest, as I say, is history.
So a couple things. I'm not giving Ben plugs. I don't think he needs them. So Ben
I'll take them.
Ben has represented me personally, and I have to say, the service and the outcome that they gave me was incredible. So
thank you.
So he does a lot of residential work. He does a lot of litigation. You had that awesome case with the casino, right?
Yes. Yeah, against the Golden Nugget. Yeah, that was a fun case.
That was really cool, really interesting.
Yep.
That got a lot of publicity.
It did. That got a lot of national publicity.
Yeah,
it was on CNN and everywhere on that.
It was the casino thought they were cheating. Or
Correct.
Something.
Correct. The cards had not been shuffled in the baccarat table.
That's
and
awesome.
the players caught on to the order and started pressing their bets up.
Yes.
And that's what happened.
And they cleaned them out, and the casino got pissed and shook them down, right?
Pretty much.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I won't go into
sort of
in the Atlantic City type fashion.
It was
get that.
It was very Boardwalk Empire. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't get too excited about like that was something like wow, that's a cool case.
Yeah, that was a cool case.
I was like, yeah, my friend's handling that case. It's kind of a big shot and stuff. So, and then you have two children. You have a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah, a boy and a girl.
And both in college now?
Both in college. My son's at St. Joe's. My daughter just started at Temple.
So Ben's working extremely hard, and his wife is a real estate agent with Keller Williams, and she does an amazing job.
Thank you.
She's an awesome agent, so it's great to have professionals like that in the business. So it's
Thank you.
Great group of people. So one of the reasons, the main reason that I called Ben, I was reading a post on Facebook, and I knew nothing about. I knew a little bit about because we had a little conversation. So what I always like to do with these stories, it's always not about sales and who's making the most money and why. Who do you want to be like? I think what I enjoy the most about these podcasts is success stories. So, Ben had a post about how at one point you were diagnosed with diabetes
That's
not
right.
too long ago.
Yep, about a year and a half ago.
Okay, and like a lot of us, Ben struggled with weight his entire life.
Yep, absolutely. Fair to say. Yep.
So, and same with when you get in your 40s and 50s, it gets tougher and tougher. So I'm gonna let you run with it.
Sure.
So what was the big turning point? Was it when the doctor called you in and said, "Hey, guess what? You got diabetes"?
Yeah. So, and it was an absolute turning point moment. I had reached out to my physician. I was seeing an integrative medicine doctor to help me try to lose weight. And he said, before we start, let's go get a full blood workup. And he thought that I'd already received my results, which of course I didn't. And I got a text from him that said, "Hey, bud, unfortunately you have type 2 diabetes." Right. And I had just put my car in park to go into a pretty important meeting. And I sat there looking at this phone. It was like time stood still. Yeah. And I sat there and I didn't even feel it. Next thing I know, tears are rolling down my face. I was really scared.
Yeah.
That's second later, my phone rings and he calls me. He's like, "Oh my God, you didn't know that, did you?" No, I didn't. I said, "But you know what? I think that was probably what I needed in the way that I needed it at that moment to finally kind of get myself healthy." I really had never really focused on my health. I'd focused many times on trying to lose weight, but I'd really never focused on my health.
So you get that news. You're like going to a meeting. You're probably not even with it. You're just kind of floating along, and you go home. Or are you are you nervous? Are you upset? What's going through your head to tell your wife?
So I've known Christine. It's going on 35 years. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find the words. The first time ever since I've known her, I couldn't find the words to tell her. Yeah. I had about a week before I was going to see the doc for him to talk to me more about it and trying to reverse the diabetes. And it wasn't until I really was kind of numb for about a week. Yeah. She and I really didn't, not that we weren't getting along, but we really didn't even talk too much because I couldn't get words out. Yeah. And so I finally, the morning of my appointment, I was getting ready to leave. She was getting ready for work, and I was like, "Hey, I have an appointment with the doctor today. I want you to go with me." And she kind of looked at me like, "With you? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I've got diabetes, and we're gonna, I'm gonna go talk about that with him and learn about it." So
it's kind of like you're probably like, I guess, kind of disappointed, like in yourself a little, or you're like, "Oh, shit, I did this to myself." In a sense,
all of those things. I was disappointed. I was pissed. I wasn't surprised, all through COVID when they were talking about like if you have diabetes, you're super high risk. Yeah. In the back of my head, I was always kind of like, I wonder if I've diabetes. Yeah, I mean, and so and this has been my health has been really probably the only constant battle Christine and I have had through our marriage because she's always wanted me to get healthy. Yeah, and
she worries about you.
Of course.
My wife worries about me. If anything ever happened, no one will be able to change the TV channel. Because no one can use the remotes in the house. So I said, you're going to have to...
Must be the same remote as my place.
All right, so you get to the doctor's office, and the doctor's like, what do they want to load you up on meds?
No. So, thankfully, this was a different type of doctor. He's an integrative medicine doctor. He doesn't really believe in meds unless absolutely necessary.
That's rare these days. Very rare.
I really had never known a doctor like that before, and I've been to a lot of doctors over the years. And so
how'd you find him?
So I actually found him through a client of mine. A client of mine was in the same area and went out and opened his own practice, and I handled him leaving his practice and starting his practice and all that. And so he had told me about him. And so, he looked at me and he's like, "Look, you don't need any medicine. You don't need insulin. You can reverse this just by changing your diet and changing your lifestyle and your approach to things." Mm-hmm. And, and at the end, I listened to him, and he started describing really a keto and a ketogenic diet. But I'm listening to him, and it was one of those moments where I only remember frames of that meeting because I was so friggin' scared. And at the end of the meeting,
if you don't do it, the consequences aren't good.
You start thinking about amputation. I'm going to go blind. I'm going to die.
No joke. I saw a friend of mine last week, both from the knee down, both legs.
Yeah.
Off.
It's real.
I mean, it's real.
It's yeah. And so at the end of our meeting, he said to me, "I think you'd really benefit from treating with my wife." And I went, "Okay." And truthfully,
You had no idea. Did you have any idea what she did?
No idea. He could have told me, "Set yourself on fire, jump off the Ben Franklin Bridge," and I would have been like, "You got it." So it turns out she's a health coach, which is really not doing her justice. The two of them together, but I have to say even more so her, saved my life. I see her to this day. I see her every week for a Zoom. If somebody had, before that moment, recommended a coach to me of any kind, I would have been like, I'm good.
Well, because you're really smart.
Correct.
Yeah,
I got my shit together.
You right. You can read it and research it and just do it.
Correct. And you know what? I was open to it because I was scared. And so I started, and I really didn't even know what to expect. I'm like, all right, she's going to teach me another way to lose weight. I've done this 1,000 times. But I was open because I was scared. And so I began treating with her about 2.5 months just by changing my diet. My diabetes was reversed. I had a blood draw.
So I always say, like, there's that moment when I have people on the show, and I laugh because I'm the only person in my office who has a real estate coach. Okay? I've had a real estate coach since 1999, and of all the people you don't think would have a real estate coach in my office, it's me.
I remember the first time you said to me, I can't talk now, I got to get on a call with my real estate coach, and I hung up. I'm like, you guys got a friggin' real estate? This guy has a real estate? I'm like, what the hell does he need a coach for?
So Ben's life changes when he hires a coach to teach him basically what to put in his mouth.
Mark, I'm going to tell you something. My entire life changed, not just my health. My entire life changed by seeing this health coach, because it wasn't just what do I put in my mouth. It was how do I handle stress? How do I approach sleep? And the three of those things, how they all sort of go together as the three legs of good health. And so all of those things change for the better. In fact, my kids, if they were here right now, would tell you, they're like, Dad, I can't believe you're reacting the way you're reacting.
You're so nice anymore.
Yeah. To me, totaling my car. I can't believe the way you're reacting to that. But, I've had to learn how to react differently to things.
What was your what was your biggest thing? Like, oh my God, this is really working. Besides dropping weight, okay? What was the one thing you said, holy shit, I can't believe I actually react to that?
You know what? The way that I wake up in the morning, I used to joke. I used to like unfold myself out of bed. You get up, you're like, all that. And I literally I bounce out of bed in the morning, and I'm going, and I just have this energy. It's remarkable that I've never had before. And it's not just because I'm losing weight and all those things. It's because I'm now getting like restorative sleep. I'm not carrying the same type of stress. Yeah. Look, everybody's got stress, but it's the way I think you react to it. So putting those things together has just made such a huge difference.
Well, people don't realize when you react to certain ways to situations, your body produces a hormone that just exhausts the hell out of you.
That's exactly
the cortisol comes out of you, right?
It's something that I watch every
day. People and when you live and that stress keeps coming up, it just beats your body up and you're exhausted and
you can't fight it.
No, you're gonna lose.
You can't fight it. I had a moment. You talk about when's your moment. I had a moment. I was my commute from work to home is just under 3 miles. So it takes a really long time.
Yeah, right.
Right. So one day I'm driving home after working however long I worked, driving home. And I'm sitting behind a guy in traffic, and I'm like starting to get pissed off. And all of a sudden, I'm like, "What's my hurry?
Yeah,
it's gonna take 8 minutes instead of 6, right?" And that was the moment I realized that I was like, something was changing. Like something was changing.
New Jersey came right at you. It's
Correct.
gone.
Yeah.
You're not beeping the horn like, what are you doing?
No.
I'm going to get home.
No, I might still throw the look just to see who it was, but no.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I realized at that moment that something was changing, just the way that I was reacting to things and so forth. It's been fantastic. It really is.
So when you started this journey and you got the diabetes call, how long ago was that?
It was about a year and a half ago.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
So gradually started, did you lose a lot of weight quick, or was it slow, methodically?
No, it's actually been a very slow process. I've gone on all kinds of diets before and lost, 20, 30, 40 pounds very quickly, but it always comes back. No, this has been it's been about a year and a half. I've lost about 80 pounds.
That's
just
all.
under 80.
80 pounds. Imagine.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I always think about that. Imagine putting an 80-pound jacket on today
Well,
and walking around all day long and trying to do what you do and try and be happy doing it.
right. And it's absolutely true. And last night, I went to put on. I've got to wear a suit later this week. I don't wear suits too much anymore, as most of us don't. And I opened my closet, and there's a whole line of suits. And I looked down, and went, holy shit! And so I put a suit on, and I'm holding it. I hold the waist out to Christine. It's like out to here, and I'm like,
that's unbelievable.
My fucking body was in there.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's crazy. It really is. But
so, and you say it changes your life all around.
Sure.
So. I always love these things. How much more productive are you at work?
By leaps and bounds. It really is. I'm at my desk earlier in the day. I'm getting more stuff done. Because I'm thinking clearer now.
Yeah, the clarity is.
It's unbelievable. A lot of that is I think I'm just not putting bad food in my body anymore with chemicals and all that. So I don't have that. I didn't even realize I had brain fog until I lost it.
Yeah, right.
And so
I'm in a similar boat. I have to tell you, because that chemical that I'm on for my prostate cancer has driven my testosterone down to 0, and I never realized how I thought about sex all the time. Now I don't think about it. Boy, do I have clarity in my life. I am so productive at the office. They're like, that's a great idea. I'm like,
look at all the time you picked up.
Look at all the time I have. I have an extra 4 hours a day. Plan things out. But it's like this monster in your head.
It's the truth.
It's just like you look through things, you don't react.
It's the truth.
And it's like so much better for you, for your body.
Oh, it's and that really has been the difference this time. People ask me all the time, what are you on? I'm not on any diet. There isn't a name for what I'm doing. I started eating clean. I've been eating clean for a year and a half, but the benefits that have come from that are immense. And the difference is, I know that I'm never going back again, is I'm focusing on getting healthy. I'm not focusing on losing. Every day I'm trying to advance the ball and getting healthier.
So let's dive in a little bit so Ben was just on NBC, right?
I was, yep.
On Saturday morning?
Yeah, it was it's cartoons. No, I'm kidding.
Cartoons. He filled in for Barney Rubble.
Yeah.
Right?
I was on a show called Fixing Us, which is a new docuseries NBC is running. It's started out this pilot season following 4 people. I was one of them. Each of whom reversed their diabetes just by changing their diet and their health and exercise and so forth. Yeah, so my show aired on Saturday.
So how long did that process take when they followed you?
So it was about 8 months, 9 months.
Really?
They followed me. Yeah, so they sent Christine and me each this special phone. We each kept a video journal from of sort of what the journey was like, the good and the bad, and definitely the ugly. And then they also periodically would come in with a camera crew. People would come from all over the country with cameras. Yeah, they were in my house. They were in my office, her office.
I know Ben, pretty well. He's not that kind of guy.
No.
Who, do you have a social media profile that you...
I do.
Or you just look?
I don't. I have it. Yeah, I'm a voyeur.
Yeah.
And of course, I post my wife's real estate listings.
Yes.
That's the extent of my Facebook.
Yeah, he's not on there hamming it up like I am.
No.
So that was big in itself that you even
that was a huge.
went there.
That was when I got asked. So these people at NBC found my doc and just through his reputation and said, "Do you have a candidate?" I said, "Oh, I think I do." And he called me, and honestly, he was not done asking me before I said no. He wasn't even done the question. I was like, absolutely not. It's too embarrassing. It's too invasive. This is a self-inflicted wound. I'm like, I don't think I really need the world to see that. And again, I didn't share that with my wife right away.
She said, "What are you, crazy?"
Yeah, she did. She's like, you're doing that. Not doing it. And we went back and forth, and she goes, look, you didn't know that you could reverse diabetes through changing your diet. Think about how many other people
you can help.
don't, and you can help. And that was the reason I agreed to do it.
Well, because when it comes from a doctor, it's one thing. When it comes from someone
Right.
who did it, who struggled for a long part of their
Correct.
life with their weight, who's tried to do a million things, and you listen to and you see the journey. I don't think there's anything more powerful than that.
It's amazing. I mean, I can remember the day that you made your video in your gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, friggin' guy, man, the courage that took. And really, because it's truth. And how could somebody not respect that? And
we, actually it was myself and Shay, who works with me. We're like, I said, listen, I want to do something good with this because I heard some really dumb questions from people who I thought were really smart about prostate cancer.
Right.
Like, what's it feel like? I'm like, what's it feel like? If you feel it, you're a goner.
Yeah, you're a little late.
So like the same thing when people, in your boat get diagnosed, usually they just crawl up in a ball.
Yeah, and I think if a conventional doctor had gotten my blood work instead of this doctor, I would have gotten a script and insulin, and that would have been the rest of my life.
Yeah,
and I would have never even known the difference.
Put a Band-Aid on it and
Correct.
let you live.
Just medicate it. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't take any medicine at all. I take some vitamins, but just regular vitamins, and that's it.
I have to say, and I think I said this on the last podcast I did with. I talked about my health journey. Probably one of the saddest days of my life was I had to buy a pill box. So take 5 pills a day, and I didn't know what you did to the extent, and I'm kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's when I knew about the bad hormones and the good hormones.
Yeah.
And dealing with stress and breathing right and doing there's a lot that comes with it that.
You just hit the nail on the head. I actually, on my way over here tonight, I got a call from an old family friend of Christine's who said, I saw your show and I saw your post on Facebook. I've been dealing with this for 20 years. What did you do? I got to know what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how many of those calls I've received, how many of those texts I've received, how many people I've already met with. And it's not like I've got all the answers and I'm a teacher. But I'll tell you what I did. Maybe it works for you. Maybe
Correct.
it doesn't.
And the other thing that I've done too, like my physician, or my oncologist was amazing. I've sent her like 8 people.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're like, listen, this is how I did it.
Right.
You got to go to a professional. You got to take the right steps. And look where I'm at.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of it has to do. I mean, you do have to have willpower. There's probably
absolutely.
I mean, there was probably plenty of times during that, like, I wish I could have a cheese, and just things like that.
There's no doubt, and there were certainly times when I did, and it was all about kind of getting through that, and for lack of a better term, muscling through that when you did fall off and do that. So, but you're absolutely right. You have to have a professional. Yeah, my health coach has received. Several people have reached out to her, and I said to her, "Look, I'm going to keep sending people to you, as long as I don't lose my slot."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
keep my slot.
I told this doctor I'm seeing now, we're doing a little acupuncture, get myself healthy, teaching myself how to breathe, little yoga-based treatments in there. I go, listen, if this thing works, and I could see it working in my body, I'm going to tell everybody out there in the crowd something. Okay, I'm going to catch some heat for this. All right, my wife knows, and my girl Colleen, who cuts my hair, knows. I'm really gonna catch heat. My hair is friggin' growing from what I'm doing. What? No shit. I swear to God. So when I come back in about 3 months, and I'm like 6'3", because I got this big kid and play hair. All right, it's gonna be, and I'm gonna say, look, I told you. That cortisol is bad for your body.
That's the truth.
You got to get those bad hormones out of your body. But it's refreshing to see some doctors take different approaches.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Even with the breathing, which was one of the things he talked about with me. I have an app on my phone now. It goes off every 3 hours. Starts at 10 in the morning. I stop when it goes off. I stop what I'm doing for 2 minutes.
Is it that calm?
No, not calm. I have calm. It's breathe. It's called breathe.
Okay.
And I do a 2-minute breathing drill. 2 minutes. And I literally, my eyes are closed. I can feel myself calming down. It works. It sounds so stupid. It really does. You stop and breathe for 2 minutes. It sounds dumb.
Deep breaths, right?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. But it works.
Why is that?
Well, I think it's playing with your cortisol levels and it's playing with your serotonin and it's allowing you to stop for a minute and just kind of center yourself, as opposed to it's like, you know, let's face it, neither one of us are doing transplant surgery every day. We're busy as
Exactly
hell.
right. It's transactional.
Correct.
Exactly.
It's we're not saving lives, and nobody's going to die if we stop for a minute to take care of ourselves.
Correct.
Except us, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well put.
Yeah.
That's well put. That's a great little tip because some people get so worked up no matter what they do.
Yeah.
You know, and their jobs, like you could just see, like you ask somebody a simple question,
Yeah.
and they're like breathing heavy and rolling their eyes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really like it's kind of like a game changer a little bit. It kind of grounds you.
Right.
And you know, for all my real estate people out there, you know, you do something in your job, and you're having a terrible day, and you're all wound up, and you get the next lead call comes in, and it's a $1 million buyer, and you're short because you don't know how to control your energy and or slash anger. It could cost you money.
No, there's no doubt about it.
You know, same with
different
you.
it's no
You got a
different
big
from me.
client calls in.
That's exactly
You
right.
just got done your little 2-minute exercise. You're like, "Hello, this is Ben Dash. How can I help you?" And you're dialed in. You got your shit together.
You couldn't be more right.
Yeah.
It really is. It makes a huge difference. It's such a tiny little thing, so simple.
And it's the same thing I say. Like I'm a morning workout guy. You know, I'm up at 5:30. I have my buddy comes over at like 5:45, 6. We work out. He leaves. I do 25 minutes of breathing exercises,
Yeah.
and then jump in the sauna. If I miss my routine and I go into work, I am a totally different
I
person.
bet are you sluggish?
I'm sluggish.
Yeah,
I'm not
good.
motivated to
Yeah.
make calls.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that later. You know, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to
Right.
be because you don't have the clarity in it. Your head's
Well,
not there.
And I think again, you make a really good point because it's like now that you have a routine and it feels good and you know you're paying dividends, it's giving you dividends from it. When I miss my routine, I'm like, damn. I'm like, it really that sets me off
Yeah.
because I know that like it's so good for me to do what I'm doing. When I do miss that, you really do. You're off from it.
You're off
Yeah.
and you get a little down on yourself. Like,
Yeah.
damn it, I can't believe I did that. You're feeling a little guilty.
Yeah.
So, but you know, in the same breath, it's not easy.
No, it's
like
not.
it's work because you know you can go anywhere you want, eat whatever you want, do whatever you want. You can get cheeseburgers delivered to your house by some guy. They'll even bring it into your house on your couch. You're gonna have to get off the couch, and that's what people do.
Yeah.
So you know, kudos to you for
Thank you.
I mean, really taking that head on. I mean, he's super chill today. He's like sitting there, just hanging out. Usually, you know, when he tells a story, he's not like all like wound up.
No, I'm not. No, it's you know what? It's cool to be talking about this with you because we've both been on our own journey.
Yeah.
And we're both, we're both kind of getting to the other side of that, right? And that,
Correct.
what a great feeling.
And I would tell you too that, and I'm not that I'm a physician, diabetes and prostate cancer among men are probably the two biggest problems over heart disease or whatever
Oh yeah.
out there. I mean, I know prostate's like 1 in 4, and I don't know, diabetes is so high.
I can't believe since I kind of, not as you were saying before, not really like me to put something like that on Facebook. I put it on so people had some context as to why I did that show. But I can't believe how many people that I know
Have
reached out to me. They're like, I'm struggling. I've been dealing with this for years. And like me, nobody wants to put their shit out there.
No.
Why would you put it out there that you have a problem, right? And so I can't believe how many people have it.
And then it'll be really weird because people are like, yo, I was really inspired by you.
Yeah.
You're like, by me?
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm a moron.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's like, it gives you, you're like, you feel like I've had conversations with people who I'd never in a million years, I thought I'd have conversations in detail. I'm like, and
Yeah.
it's just, and I'm like, hang up the phone. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just talked to that dude for 30 minutes about, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, I'm with you. I had a therapist call my office yesterday. He's a psychoanalyst that helps people trying to lose weight through mindfulness.
okay.
And he calls the office, and I get up front, they buzz me. Are like, "There's a psychoanalyst on the phone for you." I'm like, "What?" And like, he saw the show and he heard some things you said on there, and he thinks it would be really helpful for his practice, and he wants to talk to you about it. Wow. Me?
Is that billable?
Yeah, right. How many units can I bill for that? Right? But I'm like, I can't believe somebody's coming to me for something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You know, like I said earlier, you know, Ben does an amazing job with his practice, representing clients. Like, he's my go-to if I got a question. Like, hey, is this, you know, I'll throw something out there, and he always gives me, you know, some sound advice.
Don't do it.
But yeah, just kill the deal. But you know, to me, this is so much greater than anything that you can do. You know, I don't, you know, male or female, diabetes is big in everybody in our age group. But you know, God bless you, man.
Thank you. And you.
And your family relationship with everybody is probably like the best it's ever been.
It
right?
really is.
You know,
it really is. It's funny. So we watched the show Saturday night. We had some people over, and my brother, right, who's closer to me than that.
Yeah.
My brother looks at me and goes, I've never seen you vulnerable 1 minute in your life. He's like, I don't even know what to say. He's like, I'm speechless from that.
That's awesome.
Right? And so, yeah, it is. It's
great
cool.
journey. And so the journey's not over.
No.
You'll be going through this. So going back to that, so you're health coach once a week?
Yeah, once a week, an hour a week. Yep.
Do you wean off that at all?
You know, so it was supposed to be 4 weeks. And at the end of the 4 weeks, I said to her, I'm like, do people ever kind of re-up? She's like, yeah, they do. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep going. And so I don't really have any desire. I've learned, and I'm continuing to learn so much from her. So many things I'm just refining, not just with food and my relationship with food, but with stress and with sleep and other aspects of my life. It's been amazing. So I'm sure at some point, you know, things will change there, but I'm really not in any hurry to do it. It's, to me, it's the most important hour of my week.
I might have to pick your brain a little bit because I'm just not sleeping right.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I got to fine tune.
Yeah.
The gummy bears work good,
Yeah.
but I thought they beat you up in the morning. I can't be doing that anymore.
For sure.
You know, but oh my God, awesome stuff though.
Thank you.
So, you know, Ben in a year and a half lost 80 pounds.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Thank you.
80 and you just, if you know the guy, is just the whole way about him, how he presents himself is just, it's so much more relaxed and easy. And God bless you, man.
Thank
it's
you.
good stuff.
Thank
so.
you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being a guest on.
Absolutely.
And I hope some people out there get motivated, okay, when you see this. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are dealing with the same thing. So, you know, what's the name of your doctor?
His name is Andrew Oswari, Oswari, and his wife is Jane Oswari. Okay. They're right in Mount Laurel.
Right in Mount Laurel.
His practice is in Morristown.
And she's just called a health coach.
She's a health coach. She has so many degrees I can't even keep track.
So if anybody wants to reach out and change their life around and be super chill like Ben Dash until you get him in a courtroom and I'll rip your lungs out. So like he did with me. So it's awesome. Yeah. But appreciate you having me on and keep up the great work, my man.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks.